Welcome back to the program. A couple of thanks. We got coaching helmets out. Thanks to all of the schools for sending in those helmets. It certainly dresses up the place, and we'll have them out all the Friday nights. We do not do it strategically to hide some. We're going to rotate them around a little bit. Hopefully we get a Houma Christian one. Now, y'all are just starting. Wait till y'all have to trade in the shells at the end of the year. If you can, and I'm catching you by surprise a little bit, and I know you don't want to forget anybody, but the coaching staff over at Houma Christian, just so that people know, and we did mention Chuck is the athletic director, right?
Yeah, Chuck Battaglia, Shane Sheremy, Craig Nicholas, and Coach Danny.
So you just want to make sure you're not – we always do this, and people don't know who's on whose particular staff, and when you guys started from scratch, it's certainly – you don't even have – it's not just the X's and O's, it's everything that goes with it. It's a place to play even, I understand, but y'all don't have to worry about your first home day till like mid-season, right?
Well, it's our home situation has kind of been a roller coaster of a ride, to say it. We do have a field behind the church, and they worked on it. The field looks great. The field's ready to play, but we have no lights, no bleachers, no nothing. So so we're looking for alternate sites. As of right now, it looks like we're only going to have one home game, and we just about got everything finalized with Vanderbilt. We're going to go there on September the 30th.
Very good.
So they're going to be playing away, and Coach Chuck and Coach DuPont are finalizing some things. So it looks like that's where it's going to be. Then next year we'll have our lights, we'll have our stadium. So you play 7 road games this year, we'll have 7 home games next year.
Very good. And actually, I do remember back in the day, Crescent City and Country Day, sometimes they would start at 4 in the afternoon and get those games in the afternoon.
Well, what we tried to do is, the way it fell, all our home games were going to be in October. So if they could have came to the football field for, say, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we felt that we could have got the game in under sunlight. But they were talking 3 and 4, and there's no way we could have done it. So
to get the whole thing
to get the whole thing in. So it just didn't work out, and thanks hopefully to Coach DuPont and all, if we could finalize that. At least we'll have one home game, and then like next year we could really hang our hat on behind the church property, the football field. It really looks great. They turtlebacked it, started from scratch, and Ken Trusclair has been doing a great job of cutting the grass, fertilizing, things like that. It really does look good.
Step by step.
That's right.
That's all you can do. Well, they did have jamborees in our area. Some of your old friends who are on the 5A and 4A level, because remember, South Terrebonne High School dropping down to the 4A level was taking on H.L. Bourgeois. Now, these two teams going to meet again later in the season, but they were the first ones to get it kicked off today. 6:30 start time over at Tom B. Smith Stadium. Let's get out there, and folks, I got to tell you, South Terrebonne looked pretty short. This is Trevon Smith, and he throws it out there to Leo Rodriguez, a name I think you're going to hear a lot. That's a 16-yard gain. This is the first drive of the game for South Terrebonne. Smith again hands it off to number 32, big bowling ball, Channing Champagne for a 7-yard gain. And then to Champagne again for an additional 7 yards. And then he pitches it out to number 33, Devin Leger, who actually was playing because Jaquez Flores was out. He was hurt. That was not ruled a fumble. The young man fell on it out of bounds, and South Terrebonne retains possession. And a run around right into Leo Rodriguez. Good gain. And here is Smith again, a handoff to Rodriguez, and he does the honors. He was a workhorse on that entire first series for South Terrebonne. So they go up very early in this game. On for the extra point was Seth Cadier, unfortunately off to the left. And then HL got the ball and could go nowhere. Juan Walker stopped in the backfield. Tevin Jackson this is kind of like how his night was. He was chased around all night long. Dylan Levron was pulling him down there, and here is Smith on a handoff to Justin Gay, but he fumbles. H.L. Bourgeois recovers, but the very next play, Jackson throws an interception to Zachary LaBeouf, but he chases him down before he gets in the end zone. But here is Trevon Smith rolling out to his left. He holds on to the ball, gets in very close, as you see at about the 1 yard line. And then he floats it up there for Dalvin Richardson. That's the one thing South Terrebonne actually, does well tonight. We knew the Smith kid was going to be a pretty good quarterback, but he throws the ball extremely well. Dalvin Richardson grew. Last year he was right at about the 6 foot mark. Now he's about 6'2", 6'3". And boy, South Terrebonne steamrolls 29-6. H.L. Bourgeois scored late in this one. South Terrebonne actually ended up playing a lot of kids. And, we say this every year, Chad, and I'm sure you can add to this. South Terrebonne does the same thing. You see them before the game, and you kind of go, hey, there's South Terrebonne. They don't dazzle you with giant kids, although they got a huge offensive line this year. Then they come out and do things like this. Yeah,
everybody says South Terrebonne wing T, wing T, wing T, and you gear down for that run. And it seems like the past 4 or 5 years they had that receiver that, you try to match up one-on-one and nobody can, and they'll kill you with the pass. But the quarterback they have now, extremely athletic. I think he just brings a totally different dimension to South Terrebonne. And going to 4A, I think is going to help him even more. I look for good things from them.
Interestingly enough, in 4A, and we said this on the preview show last week, between South Terrebonne, Vanderbilt, and Assumption, wow, nobody, you just can't slip up on the night that you play one of those teams. So a good outing for South Terrebonne. H.L. Bourgeois obviously going to get their feet wet, and I've said this, and I'll continue to say this. A jamboree is a glorified scrimmage.
That's right.
Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Who cares? I'm telling you. I say this often, too. In 1991, I was very fortunate to be on a good staff at South Terrebonne. We lost our jamboree. As a matter of fact, we pretty much got handled by Terrebonne, but we also won a state championship. So you forget about the jamboree real quick. Another game. Now this game is the one that just got finished just recently because I was actually doing it on radio and had to leave just a little early to make sure I got in. Terrebonne taking on Ellender, and Terrebonne looked really good early in this game. As you can see, darkness set in. That is Colby Stewart up the middle for a good gain, and this is Terrebonne with the ball, folks. Colby Stewart again. Now, actually, that wasn't Colby Stewart throwing that ball, though. That was Kendrick Boudreau throwing it to number 32, Robbie Gordon. Here is a handoff off the left side for a score. That is Robbie Gordon, who is going to be a workhorse. Remember, no Deshaun Diggs for Terrebonne this year. He's going to concentrate on basketball. He's a basketball guy. Ryan Domang, the kicker for Terrebonne, kicked it out the end zone just about every time. He's going to be an asset to Terrebonne this year. Here we go, Ellender with the ball. They throw a little swing pass out to Kevin Lucian, but stopped immediately by Terrebonne. Here is Dustin Crapel. He's going to be a good quarterback. Only a sophomore. Tries to throw it out there to Thomas Johnson. Can't quite get it going. And here we go. Kendrick Boudreau. That was a swing pass out to Robbie Gordon. Again, Robbie Gordon on the touchdown, and Domain comes in for the extra point. Kendrick Boudreau. This is Terrebonne with the ball again. Hands it off to Justin Williams on the jet, or that little flat motion. Good pickup for him. Ellender tries to get back in it. Crapel throwing to Ralph Singleton, who is going to be the workhorse for Ellender out of the backfield. Now, Ellender looked better in this game in the second half. As a matter of fact, Terrebonne scored with about 42 seconds left on a pass interception that went 102 yards for a touchdown. They made every extra point. Unfortunately, Ellender is going to be in a situation where if they don't get special teams together, it might cost them. They couldn't get an extra point team out there, so they ended up going for 2 and didn't make it. The same 2 teams play each other next Friday night. And I don't know if that's ever good, but they play each other next Friday night. Of course, Ellender, under the new leadership of Terry Washington, and Terrebonne losing so much from last year. So it looks like Terrebonne going to compete in that district again. A lot of good running backs, and Ellender, again, just trying to kind of work its way out. But they did look better tonight, folks. I was very impressed with Ellender. Lots of numbers. A lot of the kids are young, but they came out and they showed themselves well, and it's a matter of Coach Washington just trying to turn it over. You did that same thing at Central Lafourche. It's never easy, right?
No, it's not. And as long as if he can get the kids out, that's the first step. It is. It's a tough process, and those kids are hungry. It's been a while since they had success, so it's changing an attitude. It is a process, and hopefully he can get it done and turn them around.
How is and I go back thinking of Colby Savoie with the triple option, and was like, whenever I would get assigned radio games, I was like, I want to go see Central Lafourche run it with him. It was fun. Right. Compare that to Nate Fry. How is that going?
Very well. I see a lot of similarities. I see the similarities as Nate is going to be someone who's going to be hard to tackle. Tonight he was running around. It almost looked like he had the whole team on his back. Things he's going to have to learn is when to get down and things like that. But I see the same mentality. Kobe wanted the ball in his hands and made things happen. And Kobe could believe, in my opinion, he could run through a brick wall and make it. And I kind of see the same things with Nate. He'll have that type of attitude that like it's going to take the whole team to tackle him. And it's going to be just like Kobe. He's going to have to understand the offense and understand he doesn't have to make every play, but when the ball's in his hands, he's definitely going to want to make plays.
Very good, very good. It's going to be fun to see y'all and have y'all highlights up here with everybody else's highlights. We do want to mention, too, Coach Callais is up this week, and we like to get different coaches in next week. Coach Hill from Terrebonne High School, Gary Hill, did say that he would come in, so we'll hold him to it. But he owes me a fishing trip, too, and I never got that, so we'll see how that all happens. But Coach Hill will be up next week. We are going to talk next about the Thibodaux High School Jamboree, a game I actually wish never would have happened this early, and that's Vanderbilt against Assumption, but those things do have to happen. Turned out to be a very, very fun game. And then Thibodaux against E.D. White, Obviously, rivals, both being from the Thibodaux area. We're going to look at those two games when we get back from this timeout.